Well, boils and ghouls, I have found someone to die for. Yes, indeed.
Well, thank you, darling.
So what brings you to ScareLA?
Well, I'm here with Girls and Corpses, and we kind of, Robert and I, the editor, Robert Ryan, aka Corpsey, and I kind of said, why not combine Macabre Theatre with Girls and Corpses, you know, and maybe do some appearances together and things like that. So that's what brings me here to ScareLA. We got Sid Haig here, we got me, we got Corpsey, and we're having a good time.
So, this booth alone is worth coming to ScareLA.
I think so. I mean, I interviewed Sid earlier, and you know, he's done, you know, so many things.
A million things.
Yeah, lots of things. At least 1,000.
At least.
Yeah.
At least. And such a ghoul guy.
Yeah, he's a very ghoul guy.
So are you still doing the show? What's going on with the FANG-tasticness of you?
Well, let's see. Macabre Theatre is currently in reruns, as it has been, nationally. It's in about 164 markets still. And Butch and I are currently talking about re-releasing it in the LA market.
Nice.
Yeah, in the LA market, October 31st, this Halloween coming up.
Very cool.
And other than that, I mean, I don't think horror has ever been bigger or better. We've got The Walking Dead, we've got, American Horror Story, we've got Penny Dreadful, and so I think that lends to a lot of things for you and I to do,
Oh, absolutely. The culture is ever darkening, and we loathe to see that.
Yeah. I mean, and some female roles are really, there's some pretty heavy female roles that are being taken by, like, American Horror Story with Jessica Lange, and just, some tremendous TV shows that are out there now that are just like, wow, you didn't see that even 4 years ago.
Oh, and the stuff they're doing on TV is leagues above what they could get away with even 10 years ago.
Yeah, Walking Dead, I mean, who would have ever thought, a zombie television series would be like the #1 rated show in television, like even 4 or 5 years ago. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But good crazy.
Oh, a great crazy.
Yeah. So, for me, I just feel like, branding the character, branding Ivonna Cadaver, that's me.
As if you ghouls didn't know.
No. But, and Butch and I, again, re-releasing the show in LA because, naturally Ivonna was conceptualized here. Is that a word?
Sure, it is now.
She was conceived here, so...
Well, that just sounds dirty.
And it is.
Oh, good. That's the way we like it. Yes, indeed.
That's right.
So getting it back in LA and all over the country, what else do you have cooking, or are you just kind of staying in the crypt for a little bit?
No, actually, what I've been doing is really getting out there, doing a lot of conventions, anything and everything. Like every weekend I'm somewhere in the LA area, whether it's a Hearst convention or a Hearst, get-together, whatever, just to say, hey, you guys, I'm back in the LA area, we're re-releasing the show, and anything and everything. If somebody says, will you do this? I go, yes.
That's what you've got to do when you're in the mortal world, anyway.
That's right. That's exactly right. So that's what I'm doing, and just working with some fabulous people, interviewing some fabulous people. Michael Berryman. Michael Berryman, Rick Baker. Let's see, Lon Chaney. What was it? Lon Chaney Jr., Bela Lugosi, Sarah Karloff. Just interviewed all of them probably about a month ago. I mean, within the month I interviewed them. So yeah. So we're putting those packages together and releasing those on the TV show as well as on our website.
Well, and since you mentioned the website, I guess we better give the creeps at home where they can stalk you online.
Well, they can stalk me at macabretheatre.com. You can also go to Twitter, which is @Ivonna Cadaver, and Facebook is the Ivonna Cadaver, and then Instagram is Ivonna Cadaver. You got to cover it all.
Oh, absolutely. Every social media outlet.
That's exactly right. Yeah, along with broadcast,
Oh, of course.
That's the goal. So.
Well, as well you should be. I mean, just everywhere. You should be everywhere.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And you were mentioning interviews, which we're doing one right now. Imagine that. That's funny. Has there been an interview for you that's been just the interview, or one that maybe you haven't done yet?
Yeah, I've worked with Universal. I've worked with Universal, Sony, Paramount Pictures. I've worked with them as far as DVD releases and press parties and things like that. I really enjoyed John Landis. I thought John Landis is like so gregarious, and he's just a smart guy. He's really clever, so I enjoyed him. Rick Baker. I've interviewed Rick Baker about 4 times, and he just got a star on the Walk of Fame. I was there. I did that. I love that. I love him. I love him for what he does. I mean, it's one thing to be an actor and to get, 8 Oscars, but he's a special effects guy with 8 Oscars. So I love those guys. But, Jennifer Tilly, and I mean, the list goes on. There's not really one favorite. It's just everybody's kind of different, and I enjoy the differences in everybody.
Absolutely. And of course, we loathe the John Landis, and I'm glad to hear he's just what you'd expect.
He's amazing. He's amazing.
And of course, Rick Baker, that was one of the things that a lot of us, you boils and ghouls, got into this whole Halloween horror thing because of Rick Baker.
Yeah. And he got, the star on the Walk of Fame. His daughter was there. His wife was there. And I interviewed his daughter. She said, oh, that's the first interview I ever had. So I was like, oh, that's really cool, And then he also was inducted into the Guinness Book of World Records for the most Oscars for a special effects guy. So big day for him, And slightly, yeah. And he's a rock star. So and then Andy Serkis. I enjoyed Andy Serkis, with Peter Jackson's King Kong, So, but again, there's just so many people that I have interviewed, and they're all great in their own way. They all bring their kind of unique sensibilities.
Absolutely. Everyone's a completely different animal.
Yeah, for sure.
So for future plans after ScareLA, are you hitting other conventions?
Yes. Yes, I'm going to be at Son of Monsterpalooza here in Los Angeles, actually performing. So,
very cool.
I did Not Scary Farm for a couple years in a row. I had Cirque du Soleil dancers with me and doing kind of a bit. So I'm going to do the same thing at Son of Monsterpalooza. I'm going to kind of do a song and dance bit, and we're going to have fun, probably based on maybe American Horror Story.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. So if you girls are in the LA area, that is in September,
it is,
I believe. So make sure Son of Monsterpalooza, definitely be there. Make sure you stalk this loathly lady. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And do you have any final words for the creeps at home?
I would just say, keep watching this ghoul right here, because he's amazing, and I love him.